still we have clearly we have multiplicity of actors and intervening powers. And Dr. Said, now it's your turn, and you are from originally, of course, from Egypt, still Egyptian, and Egypt has much stake in it. It's also it's a stakeholder of the Libyan affairs on all, and also East Mediterranean, affairs, and now I want your exploration on the rivalry between regional powers in this region. And nowadays there are many regional powers rising, like Turkey, like Russia, like European powers are also a little bit divided on this issue. And now Israel is coming to the fore. So we have very much congestion of regional powers. And so how do you see this situation? How do you navigate this congested order? So please, it's your turn. Oh, microphone on, please, please.
So clear now, okay?
Yes, it's going okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
So because of shortage of time, I will try to make it very brief. But before I start, I would like something to specify. I think from my point of view, not all actors in the region are powers. Maybe they are actors only. And the difference here important for some reason that the capabilities of the actor is not the same capability of what so-called regional power or international power, which creates a lack of like asymmetrism, asymmetric shape between both of them, which this is, I called it before, lack of management of influence sometimes. So I will continue, and then I will go ahead to my first slide, or my first part. My first part, I will talk about rivalry directly. I had to get shortened when Eric was talking because of the time. Okay, as we see that concerning the gas pipes, there is a stream coming from Russia directly, which is Turk Stream. And I think there are some more right now, like which is coming from Israel to Cyprus, and then Crete Island, Greece itself, the homeland, and then Italy. This one is really, I can say, it's very costly. It's like about $7.4 billion. And the gas which will produce or which will export is not that enough to Europe, according to my readings. And also some obstacles. But in the same time, Israel, okay, that's why Israel and Turkey, or let me say, definitely Turkey try with Israel to do another one, which is coming from Turkey to Europe, but directly from Israel to Europe, I'm sorry, by directly through Turkey. The problem with this one is that it's very costly, as I mentioned, and also even it saves some money compared with the one coming through Greece and Cyprus to Europe and Italy. But in the same time, it will take long time, because by 2040, I think, can be ready. And there is some obstacles like Israeli and Cyprus relations. They have very deep relations, and any kind of coordination or cooperation between Israel and Turkey will affect the Israeli-Cypriot relation. And also Israeli-UAE relations. Now it's enhancing and getting higher and higher, and which is for favor for Israel for sure. That's why, and remember that UAE is competitor of Turkey. So that's why it's not for favor for UAE. And now see UAE is very close also to Cyprus and Greece and Egypt, obviously, for sure. And remember the dispute on average gas field. It's between, it's something related between the, the maritime borders of Turkey itself and Cyprus, and also Israel. In Egypt, established the East Mediterranean Gas Forum. It was something like, it was early 2019 in January. 7 countries, as we see. And this is the other side in front of the competition of the pipes. So we are all of these 7 countries, we are together, we have the East Med Gas Forum. And they became members, and now they change it to regional organization. Some countries start to be observers and other countries, and we will talk about this. The reflection. So what Turkey is doing. They were not happy with this action by the other side, led by Egypt, I think. So they start to have the agreement, as mentioned by my colleagues before, between Turkey and Libya. And this economic and security agreement, but I will concentrate more on economic agreement, this to allow Turkish and Libyan sway of Mediterranean resources. And because of this, let me tell you, it's recently happened, as you know, it's in November 2019, as mentioned before. But there is agreement between Egypt and Greece. This one, yes, it has been signed later after the first one between Turkey and Libya, but it's really much older. It's, I think, 20 or 30 years ago. But now it has been signed. It took only one last year, which is 2020, to finish all, dispute points between Greece and Egypt, and now it's signed. So what is the result here? Also, by the way, Turkey is trying to say something that my agreement is much better to Egypt, and I will show that later in the next slide. At the same time,
do you share the slide, or
I'm not sharing? Yes, I share the slide. Is it not clear in front of you? I'm sorry.
Oh no, we cannot see. So would you share again?
Oh, this is my fault. I'm sorry. I thought it's shared. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. So I have to go back in this. Yeah, that's this one. Yeah. As I said, it's the first disagreement between Turkey and Libya. It was a reaction for the membership between, of the East Med Gas Forum. Then for this one, as I said, it was like reaction right now, and it has been done in November 2019. And the main reason to allow Turkish and Libyan sway of Mediterranean resources. Egypt-Greek agreement, also same way or the same aspect. It happened later, but as I told you, it has been under discussion and coordination since more than 20 years. But in 2020, and when they expected that Turkey would do something like this, they have finished very quickly, and both countries signed, I think, just a few months ago. Then it was a defense agreement between Turkey and Greece. And then also simultaneously, we can find that the attempt of similar agreement, which is between Turkey and Libya, to be between Turkey and Israel. So what is the result? What Turkey would like to say? There are gains and losses. So for example, from the Libyan agreement, when Turkey would like to tell Egypt, for example, when it compares with the Egyptian and Greek agreement, Turkish-Libyan agreement, in comparison with Greek and Egypt agreement, you will find this loss to Egypt. You would like to say that Egypt will lose this water because the blue, if I come back, the blue is the boundary of the Greek maritime, and the red is the boundaries or the borders of Turkish maritime, what you have mentioned, I will try to show. So this is, Turkey says to Egypt, this orange color triangle is a win or gain to Egypt, and you shouldn't lose when you have agreement with Greece. On the other hand, when you look at the agreement between Turkey and Israel, and according to the maritime borders they have decided or they have mentioned, and according to the size of, this is the area between the two countries, we will find this gain to Israel as well. Because according to the borders, if we see the separate one, which is this one, I'm sorry, this is the Turkish one, the blue one is separate one and Greek. So the Turkish would like to tell Israel it's taken from your portion. That's why this is the loss, and it should be gain to Israel, and this is the loss and should be gain to Egypt. But what about the long term? The only problem I think in this, that Turkey is based on something illegal, that they consider north of Cyprus is a part of Turkey. And they based all of their borders and any agreements based on that north of Cyprus is part of Turkish territory and also part of Turkish water. Whatever belong to north of Cyprus, which they believe it's, and we all know that north of Cyprus is only recognized by Turkey. No other country recognize it, as a part of Turkey. Then I will touch China and Russia in the East Mediterranean in relations with the three countries I'm talking about, which is Turkey, Israel, and Egypt. See here, why Turkey is very important to Russia? Because of these two. One of the main reasons, which is Bosphorus Strait and Dardanelles Strait. And this is the only exit to the Aegean Sea, to the Mediterranean Sea, which is also part of East Mediterranean, from the Black Sea. And the other, which is the Baltic, and Europeans know that more than me. On the other hand, it's coming from Turkey, the gas stream, Turkish stream, coming from Russia to Turkey, the Turkish stream, which is very important to Russia. And they would like, Turkish stream, which is big benefit to both Turkey and Russia, but maybe Russia more, because you would like to be the main feeder of gas to Europe, for sure would be competitor to any kind of streams coming from the south of the Mediterranean. Third point, and I think this is from my point of view, is very important. When I see what Russia is doing in the East Mediterranean, I remember what Russia was doing in Syria. What Russia is doing in Syria, we all remember Sochi. It tried to manage the competition among the main players, which were Turkey and Iran, and also Israel was involved. The three main powers in the region, they have rivalries among each other. Russia succeeded to manage the competition among them in Syria. And I think now Russia would like to manage the competition between the three main players, which is Turkey, Israel, and Egypt in the East Mediterranean, and others for sure. China. The down part here is part of Belt and Road. And this is from Google Map. China, they have agreement to have, for sake of BRI, Belt and Road, in Prayas. This is the very famous Greek and lovely island over here. And also they have in Jamlek, the Turkish one in Bursa. And I think all you visited, right? Remember, Bosphorus and Dardanelles, here's the Russian ones. And now very good relations between Russia and China. And also they have a big work in Ashdod in Israel, and also in Haifa, and in Suez Canal in Egypt. For the belt, which is the train track for the BRI, we find Ashdod, we find Jamlek, and we find even Prayas. For the road, which is the sea track of the BRI, we found Egypt and also Ashdod, come to Prayas, and then to Europe. So This kind of mix between competitors in the region is very sensitive and critical to China. And that's why China, I think, we will see in my conclusion, the end, would like to do something among these countries. The first initiative of China, diplomatic or political initiative, we have heard this is the invitation for dialogue between Iran and the Gulf states in the Middle East. So why not to repeat that somehow in the East Mediterranean sooner or later? Future and expectations, this is my conclusion. I wanted to know who are the really key countries in this game. So I saw this kind of circles in foreign policy actually, but I modified some. The blue one, which is the members of the gas forum, whatever forum or organization. All of these countries, Egypt, this 4, 5, and the other 2, which is the 7 countries I mentioned before. And then the green one, which is the countries against Turkey, Egypt, UAE, and France. The yellow ones composing the countries who are joint military exercise. Why this one is important? I believe, my opinion, that economic relations does not make alliances, but military relations really make true alliances. How? Look at the economic relation between Turkey and Egypt. $4 billion in the last few years, $4 billion. But we never have any military exercise together, right? Look at even, trade between Israel, Israel, Turkey, and Emirates, very big. But they never had military exercise, combined military exercise together. So the military exercise, I believe this is the main indicator of the true alliance and who is a competitor and who is ally. When I come to this red one, which is our observers, UAE and France, and and I think that's why it's dots, not all away line. So France and USA, according to my information, that they will ask to be observers. I mean, in East Mediterranean Forum. Now we see what? Egypt in all circles, except observer for sure. UAE in all circles, except except membership, which means Egypt and UAE, I believe that they are the main players in the region. And I think they are the main key somehow, according to their participation and their alliance in all aspects inside the region. That's why you can see all of these countries and one country here, which is Turkey. And then the key countries, as I mentioned, Egypt and UAE. I think so. Turkey always seeks to keep ties with Egypt. They try to avoid any kind of provocation between both countries. Turkey, I noticed they do that. And the East Mediterranean. But otherwise in Libya, it's different. So the stick is raised by Turkey in Libya, but smooth relation is very good more in East Mediterranean. And I believe that's why it's also seek to have cooperation, signing agreements, or at least to avoid the agreement between Greece and Egypt. We tried to stop it by any ways, because this will support. What is the main goal of Turkey? I think 2 things. Number one, to be member of the gas forum, to have the portion, which there is a deeper goal to have a portion of the gas, which they believe it should be, and I think it's obvious, they want something fair, not like Lausanne Agreement before, right? And Egypt and Turkey avoid fighting with Egypt, not only for this reason, but there's another reason. Remember, if any country fights Egypt, that means no liberty, no freedom of movement in Suez Canal. And Turkey in economic problem now, and it needs the movement in Suez Canal, which is very important to it. Turkey will seek to hold international conferences. I'm sure about that. Many more conferences, discussing not only Libya as before, but discussing more the East Mediterranean. They would like to collect the international support to their case. And they are part of the Mediterranean Sea, and they deserve more gas portion. Maybe they will help them in dividing the economic wealth in this Mediterranean for favor of Turkey for sure. Egypt will see further agreements on maritime borders with other countries, I believe, in the region. More, they try to make it concrete. Whatever it has done before, not to get to set back, continue the same way, opposite to what Turkey wants. The future development on who will really succeed on signing more maritime agreements. I think so. This is a true success. Who will sign more and deposit in the United Nations? And that's why this will be but very important, must be based on international law and UN agreements of maritime law. This is always countries opposing Turkey make stress on this point. This is the last slide. Potentially, as I told you, I think US and France will try to join as observers. This is the East Mediterranean Gas Organization. But will China do? Right? Remember, there is the Red Sea overlooking countries on the Red Sea, right? I'm sorry, not the Red Sea, of the Indian Ocean. China, Japan are observers, even though they are not part of that. So China is closer than Japan in this region. So why not to be observer, to follow up and to be always taking part in all decisions somehow in the forum or estimate organization? I think so, which would be really brilliant for them. As Putin succeeded, as I told you, to manage relation and the competition between Turkey, Iran, and Israel in Syria, I think he will try to do the same issue with prevailing countries in the East Mediterranean. I would like to give you an example happened with me here a few years ago, and it was like news in Russia Today in Arabic. In this news, it was praising Egyptian president and getting down the Turkish president, something. I called my friend. He's a Turkish retired colonel. We were working together in United Nations mission in Nepal. And I asked him to see if also from Russian resources or Russian press, maybe Russia Today in Turkey, in Turkish language, I would like to see the same news, how it was published. And I found vice versa, that praising Erdogan and getting down President Sisi, as if they would like with the fake news or using the same news to say we are closer to you, please create social problems between the two countries. This will help in managing competition by Russia. What would happen exactly between Iran, Turkey, and Israel in Syria somehow? I believe that, I think, for achieving the best for the Belt and Road, that China, as I told you, will try to approach diplomatically, as I told, maybe sooner or later. Because, as I told you, the best theater always to China is stability, good relations among. I don't say good or bad country. This is not the point, but this is diplomacy, because you don't involve militarily or with sanctions, with pressures in the American way or the Western way. So that's all from my side. And I hope I didn't take time, but I tried to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Your comprehensive overview for the future. Yeah, you are looking at, as always, looking beyond the situation. So it's so inspiring. So I think our audience took much from it. But we want to, yeah, we have enough time for